security guard sa Vietnam na daganan ng malaking rolyo ng plastic sheets.
Nakaligtas naman po kay ang gwardya mula sa bingit ng kamatayan. Naku, ang mga susunod pong pangyayari, ating abangan. Magandang gabi, ako po si Ricky Mathay.
Ako si Nina Richie Alagaw Flores, ito ang mata ng Agila International. Para naman sa mga headlines ngayong araw ng Miyerkules.
Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. planong palakasin ang ugnayan ng Pilipinas sa Cambodia, Ukraine at Colombia.
Pag-asa, opisyal nang idineklara ang pagsisimula ng dry season sa Pilipinas.
Japan, China at South Korea nangakong paiiralin ang kapayapaan sa rehiyon.
Russia may kondisyon sa Estados Unidos bago pirmahan ang Black Sea Deal.
Wildfires sa South Korea kumitil ng 18 buhay. Tiwala si Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. na magiging malakas ang ugnayan ng Pilipinas sa Cambodia, Ukraine at Colombia matapos tanggapin ng Pangulo ang mga credentials ng mga panibago ambassador ng mga nasabing bansa sa magkakahiwalay na seremonya.
Unang sinalubong ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. si Ambassador Edgar Rodrigo Rojas Garavito ng Colombia. Nagsimula ng diplomatic relations ang Pilipinas at Colombia taong 1946 noong July 5. Mayroong humigit kumulang 100 Pilipino ang tumutuloy sa Colombia. Samantala, sunod naman na dumating sa Malacanang si Cambodian Ambassador Sin Sariam. Nagsimula naman ang diplomatic ties ng Pilipinas at Cambodia noong August 20, 1957. As of June 2024, may humigit kumulang 7,500 Filipinos ang tumutuloy sa Cambodia. Samantala, huling tinanggap ni PBBM si Ukrainian Ambassador Yulia Oleksandrivna Fetiv sa palasyo. Natatag naman ang diplomatic relations sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at Ukraine noong April 7, 1992. At sa ngayon, nasa 24 na Pilipino ang nananatili sa Ukraine.
Pinuri naman ng Pilipinas ang Group 7 Nation sa pagtuligsa sa iligal, mapanupil at mapanganib na kilos ng China sa West Philippine Sea. Kinilala ng Department of Foreign Affairs o DFA ang patuloy na pagsuporta ng G7 sa 2016 Arbitral Tribunal ruling na nagpawalang bisa sa mga pag-aangkin ng China sa WPS. Nananawagan ng G7 laban sa mga sumusubok na manghimasok sa soberenya ng isang bansa. Kinundin na rin ng G7 ang agresibong maniobra ng mga barko ng Beijing, kabilang po dyan ang paggamit ng water cannons. Hinimok ng DFA ang China na igalang ang United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea o UNCLOS at itigil na ang mga aksyong nagpapalala ng tensyon katulad ng land reclamation at pagtatayo ng military outposts. Muli namang tiniyak ng Pilipinas ang pangako nitong panatilihin ang kapayapaan sa Indo-Pacific region.
Pinangunahan ng Department of Foreign Affairs o DFA ang pagpapauwi sa umano'y 176 na Pinoy na human trafficking victims na nasagip sa mga scam centers sa Myawaddy, Myanmar. Sinasabi ng naunang isinakay sa isang espesyal na flight mula Bangkok, Thailand ay dumating ng madaling araw ng Miyerkules. Sa pamamagitan nito, pinauwi ng DFA noong Martes ang 30 Filipino HVTs mula sa Myanmar na isinakay sa bus at idinerecho sa airport upang maisakay sa mga eroplanong pabalik ng Maynila. Nagbunga ng agarang aksyon ng koordinasyon ng otoridad ng dalawang bansa upang ligtas na makatawid ang mga Filipino HTVs mula Myawaddy hanggang Mae Sot sa Thailand. Ayon sa DFA, matagumpay ang operasyong ito na nagpatibay sa bansa bilang pamantayang ginto sa proteksyon ng migrasyon. Tinitiyak ng mga overseas Filipinos na biktima ng human trafficking ay mabibigyan ng agarang suporta at tulong na kinakailangan.
Target ng Department of Health na mabakunahan ang 435,576 na bata edad 9 hanggang 59 na buwan sa Metro Manila laban sa tigdas. Ito ay sa kabila ng pagsirit ng kaso ng tigda sa Metro Manila at sa iba't ibang lugar sa Pilipinas. Nakapagtala po kasi ang Regional Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit ng 368 cases ng sakit mula Enero hanggang Marso. Ayon sa Metro Manila Center for Health Development ng ahensya, bahagi ito ng catch-up immunization na katuwang ang mga local government units at pribadong sektor. Sa kasalukuyan, nasa mahigit 40,000 na ang nabakunahan ng Health Department.
Isinailalim ng Office of the Ombudsman sa preventive suspension sina Marikina City Mayor Marcelino Marcy Chodoro at iba pang mga city government officials nito dahil sa umano'y misuse of public funds na humigit kumulang 130 million pesos. Nagsimula ang lahat sa inihaing reklamo ni Sofronio Dulay, isang residente sa Marikina na nagsasabing sina Chodoro kasama ang kanyang co-respondents ay ginagamit umano ang PhilHealth funds para sa non-health purposes. Tulad nito ay ang pagbili ng IT equipment at general supplies, pagkukumpuni ng mga gusali at donasyon. Ayon sa Ombudsman, batay sa isang Commission on Audit Report, ang Special Health Fund ng Marikina ay nakumpirmang hindi ginamit sa kauukulan nito. Dagdag pa ng COA, hindi rin naging sapat ang legal basis sa paggasto sa Special Health Fund ng Marikina City Government, kaya idineklara nila ito bilang irregular or unauthorized use of public funds. Iginit naman ni Chodoro na politically motivated ang pagkakasuspindi nila. Anila, layo nito na hadlangan ang pagkakandidato ng alkalde bilang Marikina 1st District Representative. Kaugnay nito ay kinansela ng COMELEC 1st Division ang Certificate of Candidacy ni Chodoro dahil sa misrepresentasyon ng kanyang tirahan sa Marikina 1st District. Magsisimula na kasi sa March 28 ang campaign period para sa mga local candidates para sa May 12 midterm polls.
Ayon kay Fadi El Abdallah, spokesperson ng International Criminal Court o ICC, tanging ang ICC lamang po ang maaaring magdesisyon para sa interim release kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Anumang kahilingan anya para sa pansamantalang pagpapalaya sa dating Pangulo ay sasailalim sa isang evaluation. Kailangan din anyang matugunan ang ilang mga kondisyon upang maging karapat-dapat umano para sa pansamantalang paglaya ang dating Pangulo. Karaniwang kinakailangan anya na maaresto ang suspect upang matiyak na haharap ito sa korte. Sinabi pa ni El Abdallah, dapat ay hindi magambala o makagambala sa mga investigasyon ng suspect at hindi rin ito magdudulot ng panganib sa mga saksi. Samantala, tumanggi magkomento ang spokesperson ng ICC ukol sa mga legal na proseso ng Pilipinas. Sa halip ay binigyan diin ito na ang isang bansa ay may pananagutan sa pagpapasya kung paano haharapin ang mga isyong ito. Kaugnay pa rin po nito, isinumite naman ng ICC prosecutor ang initial set of evidence sa kasong crimes against humanity laban sa dating Pangulo. Batay sa 3 pahinang dokumento mula sa website ng ICC, nasa 181 pieces of evidence ang kanilang ipinasa sa defense team ni Duterte noong March 21. Nakasaad sa dokumento na ang mga item na ito ay inayos bilang pre-confirmation interim package 001 at itinuturing na confidential at isinawalat lamang sa pagitan ng mga partido.
Kinwestiyon ni Senate President Francis Cheese Escudero ang mga kongresistang kumakalampag sa Senado bilang impeachment court na pasuguting na si Vice President Sara Duterte sa mga Articles of Impeachment o AOI na isinampalaban sa kanya. Nanindigan si Escudero na hindi ito pwedeng gawin habang naka-recess ang Kongreso dahil hindi pa nagko-convene ang Senado bilang impeachment court, kaya wala pa niya itong kapangyarihan upang atasan ng bise na sagutin na ang AOI.
Hindi na kailangan i-memorize yan. Ikala na talamin kung bakit sila gigil na gigil. Hindi ko na pag-aaksayahan ng panahon. To answer him directly and in advance, kapag may sesyon ang Senado, doon lamang pwedeng magpresenta sila ng Articles of Impeachment at doon lamang din pwedeng i-convene ang impeachment court sa pamamagitan ng pagsusumpa ng mga miyembro ng Senado. That can only be done when Congress is in session. Hindi yan pwedeng gawin habang recess. At klaro,
Samantala, nagpaalala si Senador Alan Peter Cayetano na hindi lang pagpapanagot sa isang opisyalang trabaho ng mga mambabatas. Marami anyang problema ang Pilipinas na dapat ring hanapin o hanapan ng solusyon gaya ng mataas na presyo ng bilihin. Problema sa bumagsak na tulay at mga kababayang nagluluksa dahil sa anyay pagdideport kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte.
Stop beating a dead horse. Nagpre-prepare kayo, that's good. Lahat naman nung sa ebidensya, nandyan sa, sabi nyo, nasa inyo, i-preserve nyo, di ba? And then, the reality is, we have to keep the sanity of our country. Di ba? So, kayo na nagsasabing may ibang trabaho, let's also show people ginagawa natin ibang trabaho.
Opisyal nang idineklara ng pag-asa ang pagsisimula ng dry season o tagtuyot. Ito ay kasunod ang terminasyon ng pag-iral ng hanging amihan o northeast monsoon na siyang hudyat ng opisyal na pagsisimula ng summer season. Gayunpaman, tinukoy ng State Weather Bureau na maaaring makaranas pa rin ang mga lugar sa Hilagang Luzon ng mga paminsan-minsang mga paghangin mula sa Hilagang Silangan. Pinapayuhan din ng pag-asa ang publiko na maging maingat kontra heat stress na dulot ng matinding init at maging matipid sa paggamit ng tubig.
Plano po ng United States Secretary of State na si Marco Rubio na bumisita sa Pilipinas sa susunod na buwan upang patibayin ang kahalagahan ng alyansang Pilipinas-US sa ilalim ng administrasyon ni US President Donald Trump. Ayon kay Philippine Ambassador to the US, Jose Manuel Romualdez, wala pang tiyak na petsa para sa pagbisita ni Rubio. Subalit, sinabi niya nga maaari itong bumisita sa Abril. Una narito, bibisita rin si US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth sa Maynila sa March 28 na magiging kauna-unahang pagkakataong isang Pentagon chief ang bibisita sa bansa. Sinabi pa ni Romualdez na posibleng magkaroon ng schedule para sa pagbisita ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. sa Estados Unidos. Opisyal nang idineklara ng pag-asa ang pagsisimula ng dry season at tagtuyot, katulad nga po ng ating nabanggit kanina.
Hindi po sila magkakaroon.
Samantala, sa iba pang balita, pinuna ni Presidential Communication Office Undersecretary Attorney Claire Castro ang pananatili ni Vice President Sara Duterte sa The Hague, the Netherlands. Dapat anya ay maramdaman ng mga Pilipino na mayroong Vice Presidente ang Pilipinas. Sinigot din ni Castro ang bagong pahayag ni VP Sara na road to dumpster na raw ang Pilipinas sa ilalim ng administrasyon ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Kung nasa bansa lamang anya ang bise, ay makikita nito ang mga proyekto, programa at naitulong ng gobyerno sa taong bayan na pakikinabangan ng maraming Pilipino. Malamang anya ay hindi nanonood ang bise ng press briefing ng palasyo araw-araw. Dati na sinabi ni VP Sara na siya ay nasa The Hague upang maiuwi ang dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Nakiusap din siya sa publiko na wag na lamang isipin na tatay niya ang dating Pangulo, kundi tungkulin niyang gawin ito bilang Vice Presidente ng Pilipinas.
Susunod, Japan, China at South Korea nangakong makikipagtulungan para sa Asia.
Russia at Ukraine nagkasundo na para sa isang maritime ceasefire.
At National Security Advisor Mike Waltz inako ang pagkakamali sa confidential group chat. Detalye ng mga balitang yan sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
This portion.
Alam namin ang iyong pagsisikap. Dama namin ang iyong mga sakripisyo. Kita namin ang pagharap mo sa bawat pagsubok. Kaya sa kabila ng mga hamon ng buhay, nandito kami para umalalay. Kasi katulad mo, gusto rin namin ng magandang bukas para sa kanya. Hatid namin ang dekalidad na edukasyon at makabagong pasilidad sa abot kayang halaga. Kaya huwag ka na mangamba, sasamahan ka namin tuparin ang mga pangarap niya. Maaasahan mong sulit dito ang mga pinagsikapan mo. Sa aming mga makabagong pasilidad at sistema ng edukasyon. Mailalabas natin ang aking talino at mga kakayahan niya. Kahit sa munting halaga, makakasiguro ka na makakasabay siya sa mabilis na pag-ikot ng mundo. Sa new era, karamay mo kami sa bawat hamon. Kaagapay mo kami sa bawat hakbang. Kasama mo kami sa bawat ngiti at tagumpay.
Nagpulong ang mga foreign ministers ng tatlong bansa upang talakayin ang pagpapalakas ng kooperasyon sa mga isyong kinakaharap ng mga ito. Sa kabila ng tensyon sa rehiyon, nagkasundo ang mga bansa na palakasin ang tiwala at pangunawa sa isa't isa. Ipinahayag ni Japanese FM Takeshi Iwaya ang kanyang pangamba sa nuclear program ng North Korea at pakikipagtulungan ito sa Russia at iginigiit niya ang pagsulong ng full denuclearization ng Pyongyang.
北朝鮮による核・ミサイル活動や暗号資産の摂取・搾取、露朝軍事協力に懸念を表明いたしました。国連安保理決議に従った北朝鮮の非核化が日中韓の共通目標であり、安保理決議の完全な履行を含め、緊密に意思疎通をしていきたい旨を申し述べました。
Kinondena rin niya ang giyera sa pagitan ng Russia at Ukraine at nagbababala laban sa anumang pagbabago sa status quo sa rehiyon na pahiwatig laban sa lumalakas na presensya ng China. Samantala, sinuportahan ni Chinese FM Wang Yi ang mas malawak na kooperasyong pang-ekonomiya sa rehiyon kabilang ang muling pagbubukas ng mga pag-uusap ng tatlong bansa ukol sa ekonomiya at pagpapalawak ng Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Binanggit din niya ang kahalagahan ng teknolohiya at pangangalaga sa kalikasan bilang pangunahing aspeto ng kooperasyon sa East Asia. Naghanda rin ang pulong para sa isang Trilateral Leaders Summit ngayong taon na isang diplomatic achievement para sa Japan sa kabila ng mga alitang pangkasaysayan at pangteritoryo nito sa China at South Korea.
三方正在就重启自贸协定的谈判保持沟通，争取尽早恢复谈判。东亚文化之都的网络在进一步的扩大，我们将加强在东盟与中日韩、东亚峰会等机制下的协调配合，面向周边开展中日韩加的合作，带动地区的共同发展。三方同意相互支持，当好 APEC 东道主，推进开放的区域主义。我们将坚持多边主义和自由贸易，推动经济全球化向更加普惠、包容的方向发展。
Bukod rito ay nagsagawa rin ng unang high-level economic talks ng Japan at China mula noong 2019 kung saan natalakay ang mga usaping pangkalakalan kabilang ang Beijing seafood import ban mula Japan matapos ang pagpapakawala ng treated radioactive wastewater mula sa Fukushima. Sa kabila ng mga patuloy na hindi pagkakaunawaan, napagkasundoan ng Japan at China na pagbutihin ang kanilang ugnayan. Samantala, tiniyak ng Japan at South Korea ang kanilang kooperasyon sa denuclearization ng North Korea at pagpapalakas ng trilateral relations kasama ang Estados Unidos sa harap ng lumalalang global uncertainties.
우리는 한반도의 평화와 안정을 유지하는 것이 삼국 공동의 이익이자 책임임을 다시 한번 확인하였습니다. 저는 한일 중 3국이 유엔 안보리 결의를 충실히 이행하는 한편 북한의 도발 중단과 완전한 비핵화를 위해 노력하는 것이 중요하다고 하였습니다. 또한 불법적인 러브 군사협력은 즉각 중단되어야 하며 우크라이나전 종전 과정에서 북한이 잘못된 행동에 대해 보상을 받아서는 안 된다는 점을 강조하였습니다.
Nalampasan ni Thai Prime Minister Paitong Shinawatra ang isang no-confidence vote ng kanyang parlamento bilang unang pag-alma ng kanilang oposisyon. Ipinagmalaki ni Shinawatra ang katatagan ng kanyang koalisyon matapos makuha ang clear majority sa botong 319 mula sa 488 na mga mambabatas na dumalo sa naturang pulong. Inakusahan siya ng kanyang oposisyon dahil sa kawalan nito ng kakayahang pamunuan ang kanilang bansa, kung saan sinasabi nilang kulang ito ng kaalaman sa ekonomiya at may personal umanong interes para pagsilbihan ang kanyang pamilya, at dagdag pa rito ay tila puppet lamang daw siya ng kanyang tatay na si former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. Mariin namang itinanggi ni Paitong Torn ang lahat ng akusasyon laban sa kanya. Sa kabila ng kanyang mahinang ratings sa opinion polls at malamyang economic growth, nananatiling malakas pa rin ang samahan ng kanyang 11-party coalition laban sa reformist opposition ng kanilang bansa.
Sinabi ng Ukraine na nakipagkasundo ito sa Estados Unidos ukol sa maaaring maging maritime ceasefire kasama ng Russia. Ito ay matapos magpulong ang US at Russia sa Saudi Arabia kamakailan. Narito ang report ni Leslie Gumarang.
Kapwa sinabi ng Ukraine at Russia na aasa sila sa US na ipatupad ang maritime deals na iminungkahi nito. Para kay Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, nagpapasalamat ito sa US dahil sa kinalabasan ng пag-уусап.
Передусім, про що ми домовились, що може бути тиша на морі і вільне судноплавство, ви, в принципі, це знаєте. І окрім того, що коротко сформульовано в стейтменті, ви це прочитаєте, ми вдячні американській стороні за цей результат.
Dagdag ng Ukrainian President, sa kagustuhan ng US na huwag gumawa ang kasunduan, walang inilagay sa pahayag kung ano ang kahihinatnan ng bansang lalabag dito.
Якщо хтось порушить, то цього в стейтменті немає. Я розумію чому, тому що американська сторона дуже хотіла, щоб все це не зірвалося. Перші домовленості, щоб вони не зірвалося. Тому не хотіли йти в багато деталей. А все одно нам прийдеться з вами розуміти відповіді на кожну з деталей. Якщо ми бачимо, що хтось порушує, ми вважаємо, що ми звертаємось по всіх наших лініях до американської сторони. З тими фактами і доказами, що російська сторона порушила це.
Kapwa pinipressure ni Trump ang Ukraine at Russia na tapusin na ang labanan. Samantala, magkahiwalay na kasunduan ang naabot ng US sa Russia at Ukraine ukol sa ligtas na nabigasyon sa Black Sea at sa pagpapatupad ng ban sa pag-atake ng isa't isa sa energy facilities nito. Kung ipapatupad, sinasabing ang mga kasunduang ito ay ang pinakamalinaw ng progreso ukol sa mas malawak na tigil putukan. Para sa Washington, hakbang ito upang wakasan na ang 3 taong labanan sa pagitan ng Ukraine at Russia.
На сьогодні це звучить так, що при запитанні нашої сторони, міністр оборони запитав американську сторону, коли це може вступити в дію, так? І вони вважають, що після того, як американська сторона офіційно виходить зі стейтментом, може бути початок вже імплементованих в цьому документі рішень. Я думаю, що є мільйон питань, ну чесно, я так вважаю, буде мільйон питань і деталей, але на сьогодні звучить так, що кожна з сторін не застосовує відповідну зброю по енергетиці обох сторін.
Leslie Gumarang para sa mata ng Agila International, Trusted, Connected, On Point.
Ipinakita ng Revolutionary Guards ng Iran ang bago nitong underground missile base na tinawag nilang Missile City. Sa isang video na nirelease mismo ng state media ay makikitang binisita ni Major General Mohammad Hossein Bagheri at IRGC Aerospace Force Commander Amir Ali Hajizadeh ang Missile City. Punong-puno ang base militar ng iba't ibang mga missile at rocket gaya ng advanced weapons na K-Bar Shekan, Gadr H. Sejil at Pave Land Attack Cruise missiles. Ilan sa mga armas na ito ay ginamit ng Iran upang atakihin ang Israel kamakailan. Ayon sa war experts, wala pang isang buwan ay nakapagtayo na nila ang Iran ng pangatlong missile base. Pagpapahiwatig nila ito na tuloy-tuloy ang pagsisikap ng Iran na palakasin ang depensa nito. Hindi lamang Israel ang pinaghahandaan ng Iran dahil lalo ring tumaas ang tensyon sa pagitan nito at ng Estados Unidos kasunod ng 2 bang ultimatum ni US President Donald Trump sa Iran. Una nang hiniling ni Trump na tanggapin ng Iran ang bagong kasunduang nuklear. Ngunit tinanggihan ng Iran ang kahilingan ng Estados Unidos dahil nais nitong ipagpatuloy ang kanilang nuclear programs para sa pambansang seguridad at international na impluwensya rito.
Resigned Prince Harry at Prince Iso sa Sentebale organization is a non-governmental or group or NGO na layong tumulong sa mga bata nagpositibo sa AIDS at sa HIV. Itinayo ni na Prince Harry at Prince Iso ang Sentebale bilang pag-alala sa kanilang mga ina. Subalit na babalot ngayon sa kontrobersya ang nasabing NGO dahil sa umunoy alitan ni Attorney Sophie Chandauka, chairwoman ng Sentebale at ng Board of Trustees ito. May mga aligasyon din ng pang-aabuso ng kapangyarihan, bullying, harassment at misogyny. Mga terminong tumutukoy sa anti-black racism laban sa mga kababaihan. Hindi nagustuhan ni Chandauka ang ginawa ni Harry at sinabing playing the victim card ang prinsipe na magpaliwanag sa media. Lahat anya ng ginagawa niya sa organisasyon ay para sa mga kabataang pinaglilingkuran ng kanilang grupo.
Nawawalan na ng pag-asa ang maraming migrante tulad ng Cubans na matutupad pa ang kanilang pangarap na makapanirahan sa Estados Unidos. Ito ay sa gitna ng paghihigpit na migration policy ng US. Si Yolanda Aspiras para sa report.
Para sa migranteng si Naidin Hernandez, luha ang kinahihinatnan ng kanyang gumuhong pangarap na makasamang muli ang kanyang anak na nasa Estados Unidos. Ani Hernandez, 4 na taon na nitong hindi nakakasama ang anak na babae na sadyang napakahirap na sitwasyon para sa mag-ina.
Bueno, yo tenía puesto el parol y tenía la esperanza de llegar a los Estados Unidos porque tengo mi hija allí y solo Dios sabe la necesidad que tengo. Hace 4 años que se fue y quería verla. Para mí es muy duro. Para mí es muy duro que haya cerrado el parol y le pido a Dios que toque su corazón, porque verdaderamente necesito llegar. Para mí ha sido muy duro eso de que Trump nos haya quitado el parol.
Nag-apply si Hernandez ng US entry sa ilalim ng tinatawag na parole program na inilunsad ni dating Pangulong Joe Biden. Sa ilalim ng programang ito, maaaring makapanirahan at makapaghanap buhay pansamantala sa US ang mga migranteng may sponsor. Gumuho ang pag-asa ng mga katulad ni Hernandez nang i-anunsyo ng administrasyon ni US President Donald Trump na wawakasan na ang programa at babawiin ang temporary legal status ng may 530,000 Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans at Venezuelans sa US. Batay sa isang draft Federal Register Notice, walang bisa ang programa at itinutulak lamang ang limitasyon ng legalidad. Maraming Cubans ang nanlumo sa anunsyo bilang nagdurusa ang karamihan sa kanila sa ilalim ng komunismo, krisis pang-ekonomiya. Batay sa tala ng US Customs and Border Protections at ng Department of Homeland Security, higit 700,000 Cubans ang nakapasok ng bansa sa ilalim ng Administrasyong Biden. Hindi tiyak kung ilan sa mga ito ang nasa ilalim ng parole program. Noong Lunes, tinawag na hindi makatotohanan ni Cuban Deputy Foreign Minister Carlos Fernandez de Cosio ang pambibigong ito ng US sa Cuban migrants.
We find it unrealistic to carry it out, and it's outside of the agreements. That's why we say, I can't answer if Cuba can entertain the idea. What I can answer is that if the U.S. wants to change the patterns that we've had in migration, we need to sit down. But I can already say from advance that we would sit down, but we find it very unrealistic, an expectation of having hundreds of thousands of Cubans or tens of thousands returning.
Para kay Havana resident Dario Menedes, isang 20 anyos na engineering student, sinakripisyo nito ang lahat makarating lamang sa US.
Si esas personas salieron de Cuba, son ciudadanos cubanos y es lógico que los deporten hacia acá. Lo que el país no está marchando de la mejor forma, y si vienen más personas así rápido, quizás eso complique un poco más la situación. No es mentira que se está viviendo escasez de productos y cortes eléctricos, y con esas personas probablemente haya una mayor presión sobre los servicios y haya más descontento, probablemente. Son momentos complicados ahora mismo en Cuba, y seguramente el gobierno tiene algún plan, tienen alguna medida preparada, y probablemente están esperando a ver qué es lo que pasa.
Yolanda Aspiras para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Inako naman po ni U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz ang responsibilidad ng maling pagsasali sa isang journalist sa classified group chat ng White House officials ukol sa pinlano nilang airstrike sa Yemen. Ang signal group na pinangalan ng Houthi PC Small Group ay kinabibilangan ng mga opisyal katulad ni Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard, CIA Director John Ratcliffe at iba pang mga opisyal. Iniulat kasi ni Atlantic o ng Atlantic Magazine Editor-in-Chief Jeffrey Goldberg na nagkaroon siya ng imbitasyon sa group chat mula sa isang account na nakapangalan kay John Ratcliffe 2 araw bago isinagawa ang naturang airstrike. Nagdulot ito ng kaliwat-kanang batikos mula sa mga mambabatas ng US kung saan sinabi nilang isa itong malaking paglabag ng Espionage Act dahil hindi pinahihintulutan ng White House ang signal dahil sa kakulangan ito ng security clearances para magamit ito bilang isang official messenger ng gobyerno. Sa isang panayam naman ay inamin ni Waltz na siya ang gumawa ng naturang group chat at sinabing ikinahihiya niya ang naturang pagkakamali. Tila kinutsapan niya ang journalist kung saan pinantilan nito ang integridad nito at igrit niyang hindi naman daw classified ang kanilang pinag-usapan doon.
It's embarrassing, yes. We're going to get to the bottom of it. I just talked to Elon on the way here. We've got the best technical minds looking at how this happened. But I can tell you for 100%, I don't know this guy. I know him by his horrible reputation, and he really is the bottom scum of journalists. And I know him in the sense that he hates the president, but I don't text him. He wasn't on my phone. Look, I take full responsibility. I built the group. My job is to make sure everything's coordinated.
But how did the number? I mean, I don't mean to be pedantic here, but how did the number?
Have you ever had somebody's contact that shows their name, and then you have somebody else's number there?
I never make those mistakes.
Right? You got somebody else's number on someone else's contact. So of course I didn't see this loser in the group.
Ayon naman kay US President Donald Trump, iimbestigahan niya ang paggamit ng Signal bilang messaging app ng mga opisyales, subalit sinabi nitong hindi na kinakailangan pa ang paghingi ng tawad ni Waltz.
Well, I think it's a question I've been asked now, and I've given a few answers, and they've all been the same. We have an amazing group. Our national security now is stronger than it's ever been. We have had a very, very successful, numerous attacks on that area. These are people that shoot down ships, not only our ships, ships all over the world. They're shooting down right out of the water and damaging them badly, or they're going down. They're also shooting anything that happens to be flying in the area. We hit them very, very hard. There was no classified information, as I understand it. They used a app, if you want to call it an app, that a lot of people use, a lot of people in government use, a lot of people in the media use. No, I don't think he should apologize. I think he's doing his best. It's equipment and technology that's not perfect, and probably he won't be using it again, at least not in the very near future.
Susunod, 18 katao nasawi sa South Korean wildfires.
Chinese authorities rumisponde sa lindol sa Hebei province.
At corruption case laban sa dating presidente ng FIFA ibinasura ng korte. Yan at iba pang mga balita sa pagbabalik pa rin ng Mata ng Agila International.
Matatag ang paninindigan. Matapang sa pagresponde. Matapat sa paglilingkod. Patikang tagapagbalita. Mata natin sa balitaan. Alex Santos kasama gabi-gabi sa Mata ng Agila Primetime.
Ang mga maiinit na balita at rumaratsyad ang usapan ng bayan, ihahatid namin sa 100%! 100% ang pagbabalita! 100% talakayan! Lunes hanggang Biyernes! Alas 5 hanggang alas 7 ng umaga! Live na live sa Radyo Agila 1062 Mega Manila! At sa NET25! 100%!
Sa NET25, let's get together. Sa NET25.
In a world full of challenges, one thing remains clear. Women are resilient, radiant, and remarkable. These three qualities not only inspire us, but also shape the very essence of who they are. Join us as we honor the incredible women who embody these traits and continue to lead with passion, power, and purpose. Dito lang sa Ito Ang Tahanan tuwing Sabado at Linggo, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa NET25.
Let's get together sa NET25. Sa NET25.
Ngayong Sabado, sa Motorcycle Republic.
The ride is a short ride, 26 kilometers. This is mostly kainan dahil it is a buffet breakfast sa Summit Ridge Hotel in Tagaytay.
Thank you sa pagsama sa amin, mga kapatid. Talagang nagsimula tayo as a pare-parehas lang na passionate rider. Pero ngayon, isang pamilya na tayo na nabuo, na talaga namang hindi na mapag-iwalay.
Isasama namin kayo tuwing Sabado, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Let's get together sa NET25. Sa NET25.
Nagbabalik ka Mata ng Agila International at sa pagpapatuloy po ng ating mga balita ngayong gabi. Nasawi ang 18 katao mula sa patuloy na pagkalat ng wildfires sa timog silang rehiyon ng South Korea. Nagpahayag sa South Korean Prime Minister Han Duck-soo na magkakaroon ng full-scale nationwide response upang maapula ang naturang wildfires. Mahigit 4,000 bombero na ang rumusponde upang pigilin ang patuloy na pagkalat ng apoy. Nasa 27,000 katao na ang lumikas sa mga apektadong teritoryo. Ang wildfires ay tumupok sa mahigit 17,000 hektarya ng lupa at sumira ng daan-daang mga gusali, kabilang na ang isang historic site. Tinaguriang itong isa sa pinakamatitinding wildfires na nangyari sa kasaysayan ng bansa.
의성에서 발생한 산불이 안동 지역을 비롯하여 어제 오후부터 밤늦게까지 순간 최대 풍속 27m의 강한 바람으로 인해 청송, 영양, 영덕까지 영향을 주었습니다. 정부에서는 어제 16시부로 산불 재난 국가 위기 경보를 전국에 심각 단계로 발령하여 총력 대응하고 있습니다.
Patay ang isang security guard matapos mataganan ng 3 malaking rolyo ng plastic sheets sa isang industrial park sa Vietnam. Batay sa lokal na ulat, nakabantay ang gwardiya sa gate nang pumasok ang humaharurot na traktor na may hinihilang cart. Naglalaman naman ng 3 rolyo ng plastic sheets. Dahil sa mabilis sa pagpapatakbo ng driver sa traktor ay tumagilid ang cart at nabagsakan ang gwardiya. Sinubukan pang sagipin ng mga tao ang biktima, subalit ng kanilang nahugot na ito ay wala na po itong buhay. Nakikipag-ugnayan na ang Bindong Provincial Police para imbestigahan ang nasabing insidente.
Hindi napigilan ng isang senadora sa Australia ang kanyang emosyon sa harap ng parlamento. Habang nagpupulong, naglabas siya ng isang patay na salmon at nagprotesta laban sa mga panukalang batas ng gobyerno para sa mga salmon farming. Ayon kay Senator Sarah Hanson-Young, ang hakbang na gagawin ng gobyerno ay makaaapekto sa kapaligiran, lalo na sa Macquarie Harbor kung saan naninirahan ang mga isdang salmon. Bukod kay Hanson-Young, may ilan ding environmental groups na nababahala sa epekto ng chemical pollution sa naturang lugar. Bagay nila na hindi naaksyonan ng gobyerno. Nanawagan din ang Hollywood actor na si Leonardo DiCaprio sa publiko at sa gobyerno ng Australia na iligtas ang Mogian skate at pigilan na ang pagkawala ng natatanging salmon species na matatagpuan lamang sa Macquarie at Bathurst Harbors.
Ilang araw bago muli magpataw ng mga bagong taripa si US President Donald Trump, inanunsyo ng Hyundai na mamumuhunan ito ng $21 billion sa US. Kasama rin sa plano ng South Korean car-making giant ang pagpapatayo ng isang bagong $5.8 billion steel plant sa Louisiana. Target din ng Hyundai na palawakin ito ang produksyon ng sasakyan sa US gamit ang autonomous driving technology at artificial intelligence.
Anim na subsidiaries ng Inspur Group, ang pinakamalaking cloud computing provider ng China, ang sumabit sa export blacklist ng Estados Unidos. Ayon sa ilang eksperto, ang mga subsidiaries na ito ay blacklisted dahil ito ang nagde-develop ng mga supercomputers ng Chinese military. Sinabi naman ng Embahada ng China sa Washington na isang pretext lang ang anggulo na may kinalaman ng Inspur sa mga armas ng China upang i-weaponize ang mga issue sa kalakalan. Kasama rin sa US export blacklist ang ilang kumpanya ng Taiwan, Iran, Pakistan, South Africa at United Arab Emirates. Napawalang sala na sa kasong korupsyon si dating FIFA President Sepp Blatter at French footballer Michel Platini. Sa inilabas na appeals court sa Mutton, Switzerland, na nalinis ang pangalan ng dalawa dahil umano sa alegasyon ng pagbabayad ni Blatter kay Platini ng halagang mahigit $2 million. Una nang naakwit ang dalawa sa kasong fraud noong 2022 pero umapela ang Swiss federal prosecutors. Maring itinanggi ng dalawang nasabing alegasyon sa kanila. Nagsimula ang kaso taong 2015 nang ulanin ng mga alegasyon ng korupsyon ang FIFA. Dahil sa nasabing insidente, napilitang magbitiw sa kanyang pwesto si Blatter na nagtapos sa planong pag-upo rin sa pwesto ni Platini.
Sa natitirang mahigit 2 linggong ng official debut ng Season 2 ng The Last of Us, nagdagsaan ang mga artista sa TCL Chinese Theater sa Los Angeles, California. Kay Lara po para sa storya.
Matapos ng emosyonal na pagtatapos ng Season 1 ng The Last of Us, na ipinakita ang pagmamahal ni Joel kay Ellie, kapalit ng kapalaran ng buong sangkatauhan. Ngayong Season 2, lumipas na ng 5 taon at pagdadaanan naman nila ang kinahinatnan ng desisyong iyon. Mula sa trailer na inilabas ng HBO, nakita natin ang mas matibay na karakter ni Bella Ramsey bilang si Ellie na may misyong ipaghiganti ang isang napakalaking trahedya na magpapabago sa kanya.
I mean, she's gone from 14 to 19, and that I feel like those years are so formative in anyone's life. Never mind, never mind being in like this post world with this sort of lie that Joel told hanging over her. Whether she knows it's a lie or not, I think she can feel something.
Ang pinakaabangang karakter na si Abby, na gaganapin ni Caitlin Dever, ay papakilala. Ang babaeng puno ng galit, sariling kwento ng sakit, at magdadala ng hindi matatawarang epekto sa buhay ng mga bida. Kasama ng pagganap ni Young Mazino bilang si Jessie, na sinasabing magiging haligi ng kanyang komunidad na handang magsakripisyo at unahin ng iba bago ang sarili niyang kapakanan.
Jesse is he's a bit of a lone wolf type, cool, calm, collected, likes to patrol solo even though it's advised to go with a partner. But he's a great friend. He cares about his community and reminds me of my dad in some ways. He's very self-sacrificial and puts others before him.
Ang pagpapatuloy ng kwentong ito ay hindi lamang isang magiging emosyonal, kundi brutal at mapanirang paglalakbay ng paghihiganti, kapatawaran na maaaring bumuo o tuluyang bumagsak sa isang tao. Magde-debut sa April 13 ang 7th episode ng ikalawang season nitong Emmy Award-winning na original drama series. Kyle Lara, para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Susunod, Lego art exhibit pinagkaguluhan sa Washington, D.C.
Ohio Police Department nagsagawa ng isang wild goat chase.
At abangan ang iba pang mga storya pagdating ni Alma Angeles at ng Mata ng Agila World News. Tumutok pa rin po, magbabalik pa ang Mata ng Agila International.
Ngayong Sabado, sa Motorcycle Republic.
The ride is a short ride, 26 kilometers. This is mostly kainan dahil it is a buffet breakfast sa Summit Ridge Hotel in Tagaytay.
Thank you sa pagsama sa amin, mga kapatid. Talagang nagsimula tayo as a pare-parehas lang na passionate rider. Pero ngayon, isang pamilya na tayo na nabuo, na talaga namang hindi na mapaghiwalay.
Isasama namin kayo tuwing Sabado, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Let's get together sa NET25. Sa NET25.
Saan din yung ginagawa ng ibang kasama nyo dyan?
At Pat P. Daza.
Desperado na siya. There's no way na makakapasok yung kanyang slate unless patayin itong 15.
Sa ASPN. Ano sa palagay nyo? Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga, dito sa NET25.
Together sa NET25.
Nako, Pasyal tayo ngayon sa Washington, D.C. kung saan isinagawa ang The Art of the Brick Lego exhibit. Nakapanayam ni NET25 correspondent Jeff Sanidad ang panauing pandangal na si Lego artist Nathan Sawaya. Gayun din ang isa sa mga nagwagi sa ginanap na Master Brick Challenge. Jeff.
The internationally acclaimed exhibit, The Art of the Brick, is back with an exciting new challenge. Known for its breathtaking sculptures, this world-famous Lego art exhibition captivates its audiences. But this time, visitors can test their own building skills in the Master Brick Challenge, a hands-on competition where participants get to showcase their creativity and technical expertise in front of a panel of judges, including a very special guest. That special guest is renowned artist Nathan Sawaya, who will provide attendees with a unique opportunity to engage with him during an exclusive meet and greet session. After wowing audiences in over 100 cities across 24 countries, Sawaya's jaw-dropping Lego exhibit has finally landed in Washington, D.C. From larger-than-life sculptures to brick-built versions of famous masterpieces like Michelangelo's David, Van Gogh's Starry Night, and Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, this is Lego like you've never seen it before. And that's not all. There's a massive 6-meter-long T-Rex skeleton, a wild Lego safari, and mind-blowing multimedia art made with award-winning photographer Dean West. Visitors get to ask questions, snap selfies, score autographs, and peek into how Sawaya brings Lego bricks to life. The Master Brick Challenge kicks off with 25 super talented builders showing off their creativity in 5 exciting categories, all inspired by DC. Voting opened on March 15, 2025, and today, March 21, we celebrate every builder and reveal who takes home the ultimate prize. And who's announcing the winner? None other than Nathan Sawaya himself.
The Master Brick Challenge is something that allows many people to explore their own creativity. I think the role of an artist is to inspire. And so I hope I've inspired these builders to explore their own creativity and create whatever their imagine lets them build. Now, when it comes to judging, it's actually voted on by the public. So although I've seen some amazing creations, it's really not up to me. It's really what everyone wants to see as the winner. I think Lego is something that you can keep using in new and different ways. I always am exploring new ways to use it. Part of this exhibition here in Washington, D.C. has explorations of using Lego bricks with photography and integrating them together. That's just one approach that's different from just traditional building.
What's the most memorable reaction you've received from a visitor at one of your exhibits?
There's a piece called My Boy, where a figure is holding a child in its arms. And the first time I debuted that, a woman started crying. And when you see that type of emotion coming out of something that's really just a child's toy, but it really has been transformed into art, and that's the real idea. A lot of folks ask me, why do I use Lego bricks? And I think it really comes down to a couple things. I really like the look of Lego bricks. I like those distinct lines, those sharp corners. When you see my artwork up close, you're gonna see it's made out of all these rectangles and right angles. But then you back away from it and those corners blend into curves. And that's kind of the magic of using Lego bricks. And the other reason I really like using Lego is it's accessible. And that makes the art accessible. People are familiar with Lego, so they can connect with this type of art because they're just familiar with it as a toy.
Winner Caden spoke of the inspiration behind his winning Lego build, The Soul of DC.
I guess I just had to take a good look around the city, and I wanted to make or take a mental note of what some people don't include in their stuff. Instead of some people just normally putting cherry blossoms or just the monument or capitol, or because that's what we're normally known for. And so I just wanted to be different, yeah.
Meeting artist Nathan Sawaya further fueled his passion for art.
It feels really good. It gives me a lot of inspiration since I'm going to art school next year. Yeah, and it makes me want to go more to that feeling of art and more of that career part instead of just staying in the normal patterns of economics.
The Art of the Brick DC continues to ignite imaginations and push the boundaries of creativity. With this event, many agree that the power of play truly inspires dreamers, one brick at a time. Jeff Sanidad, Washington, D.C. for Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Sa halip naman pong suspect ang kanilang habulin ay napasabak ang Akron Police Department sa isang goat chase sa isang highway sa Ohio. Nadulot ang traffic ang foot pursuit ng mga pulis sa tumatakbong kambing sa State Route 8 North malapit sa Tallmadge Avenue. Matagumpay namang na-corner ng mga otoridad ang hayop at naidala ito sa ligtas na lugar. Walang natamang pinsala o sugat sa katawan ang kambing. Inihabilin ng Akron Police ang kambing sa isang local rescue group para kupkupin ito ng isang farm. At dahil sa goat chase na kinasangkutan ng hayop, pinangalanan ito bilang fugitive ng grupo. At narito po kami para maghatid ng balita saan mang dako ng mundo. Magandang gabi po. Ako po muli si Ricky Matay.
Ako si Nina Richie Alago Flores. Ito ang Mata ng Agila International. Para naman sa mga iba pang balitang nangyari rin sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, punta tayo kay Alma Angeles para sa Mata ng Agila World News. Take it away, Alma.
Thank you, Nina and Ricky. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alma Angeles for NET25 World News. On tonight's headlines, Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Juan Ponce Enrile is urging caution over plans by some overseas Filipino workers to stage a zero remittance week in protest of former President Rodrigo Duterte's ICC arrest. The death toll in the wildfires raging across South Korea's southeastern region rose to 24, and the pilot of a firefighting helicopter was killed when the aircraft crashed on Wednesday.
Wildfires in western Japan's Ehime and Okayama prefectures have entered their fourth day with strong winds complicating containment efforts.
And the news starts now. Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Juan Ponce Enrile is urging caution over plans by some overseas Filipino workers to stage a zero remittance week in protest of former President Rodrigo Duterte's ICC arrest. Take a look. In a Facebook post, Enrile wrote, "This is a humble, unsolicited reminder to our social and political leaders. Whoever advised Filipino OFWs to suspend the remittance of their earnings abroad to the country should think many, many times about the adverse consequences of that advice to our OFWs. And really warned Congress could retaliate by stripping OFWs of tax exemptions. He said, as I said before, for every action, there's always a possible counteraction. If such an advice is followed by some OFWs, what will happen should Congress, for instance, retaliate and cancel or also suspend the tax privileges of the OFWs that follow the advice?" It really highlighted OFWs' exemptions from income tax, travel taxes, airport fees, and documentary stamp taxes on remittances. He added they are exempt from the documentary stamp taxes on their remittances, and they are also exempt from filing income tax returns. Malacanang echoed Enrile's concerns. Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro urged calm.
Pero alam naman natin kung paano ba gagalaw ang ibang mga supporter. Pero nung natin pong sinagot ang patungkol dito na zero remittance, nakita ko po sa ibang mga comments na yung mga ibang OFWs ay sinabi nilang hindi sila lalahok dahil magugutom ang kanilang pamilya. Maaapektuhan ang pamilya nila kapag sinunod nila ang zero remittance. Kaya nga sabi po natin, mas maganda po sa lahat ng mga OFWs, hindi po tayo kalaban.
They planned protests set for March 28 to April 4 coincides with Duterte's 80th birthday and really ended his post with a stark warning. I earnestly suggest to our OFWs to study carefully that advice to them before they get burned by it. Re-electionist Senator Amy Marcos has withdrawn from President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s alyansa para sa bagong Pilipinas senatorial slate, citing disagreements over the government's role in former President Rodrigo Duterte's ICC arrest. Take a look. Marcos chaired a Senate hearing last week probing Duterte's transfer to The Hague for alleged crimes against humanity. During the hearing, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin invoked executive privilege to block disclosures about Duterte's arrest. Marcos criticized the move by repeatedly invoking executive privilege and the sub judice rule during the Senate's hearing last week. The government witnesses appeared to be hiding essential facts. Marcos accused the administration of undermining sovereignty. Beyond their constant narrative that the Philippines was simply complying with its international commitments, a deliberate effort to obscure the truth only gave rise to ever greater suspicion that the Constitution may have been disregarded and our sovereignty diminished by the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte. President Marcos excluded Amy from his campaign rallies in Cavite and Laguna, endorsing only 11 Alyansa candidates. Amy declared, "Thus, I cannot stand on the same campaign platform as the rest of the Alyansa. As I have stated from the outset of the election period, I will continue to maintain my independence." The rift centers on Duterte's ICC arrest. Amy emphasized, over and above political advantage, the sovereignty of the country and the interest of true justice for every Filipino must remain paramount. Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra has emerged unscathed from a two-day grilling in Parliament, securing 319 votes against the no-confidence motion. Here's Crystal Mapa reporting from Thailand.
Thank you, Alma. Thailand's Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra has emerged unscathed from a two-day grilling in Parliament, securing 319 votes against the no-confidence motion. The opposition People's Party had accused her of being a proxy for her father, billionaire ex-premier Thaksin Shinawatra, and mishandling the economy. The motion failed decisively with 162 votes against and 7 abstentions. Paetongtarn, Thailand's youngest ever prime minister at 38, rejected claims of tax evasion and family favoritism, insisting she's focused on public service. After the vote, she posted on X, and I quote, "Every vote, both support and against, will be the strength for me and the cabinet to continue our work for the people." End of quote. Opposition leader Natapong Rungpanyabut dismissed the result, saying, and I quote, "The Prime Minister's abilities are still lacking. If Thailand has a Prime Minister without the right qualities, the nation will be at a loss." End of quote. The vote highlights Thailand's enduring political divide. Thaksin, a polarizing figure ousted in a 2006 coup, returned to Thailand in 2023 after 15 years in exile. Critics claim Paetongtarn's coalition prioritizes his interests over national needs. Despite public trust in her government at just 38.55%, Paetongtarn's 11-party coalition remains intact. Analysts say this lowers the risk of near-term instability in a country prone to political upheaval. Reporting from Thailand, this is Crystal Mapa for NET25 World News. Back to studio.
Wildfires are spreading across Japan. Here's Tyra Lu for more.
Thank you, Alma. Wildfires in western Japan's Ehime and Okayama prefectures have entered their fourth day, with strong winds complicating containment efforts. The blazes, which began Sunday, have destroyed 8 buildings and forced over 5,800 evacuations in Imabari alone. In Ehime, the fire has scorched 214 hectares, engulfing 6 homes and 2 warehouses. Nearby, Okayama and Tamano have seen 310 hectares burned. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has ordered agencies to prioritize evacuations and firefighting. The Ground Self-Defense Force has deployed 14 helicopters and hundreds of firefighters, but dry conditions and wind gusts are hindering progress. Ehime Governor Tokihiro Nakamura warned the situation remains dangerous despite no casualties. These fires follow February's Funato wildfire in northeastern Japan, the largest in over 50 years, which burned 2,900 hectares, killed one person, and displaced 4,596 residents. Experts link the recent blazes to climate-driven dry spells and seasonably high temperatures. Reporting from Kanagawa, Japan, this is Tyra Lu for NET25 World News.
The death toll in the wildfires raging across South Korea's southeastern region rose to 24, and the pilot of a firefighting helicopter was killed when the aircraft crashed on Wednesday.
The helicopter was flying towards us and sounded normal, and then sounded a little unnatural. Just before it changed direction suddenly, which is similar to a weird sound when we drive a car. And then it immediately fell down. About 1 minute and 30 seconds after it crashed, there were three bang sounds, like explosions. It completely exploded, and I couldn't even tell which part was the wing or what color it was. It turned black.
The fires, some of the worst there in decades, have spread rapidly and forced more than 27,000 people to flee their homes. The country's acting president, Han Duck-soo, said Wednesday that raging winds were making containment difficult. He vowed to mobilize all available support.
The direct reason why the wildfire is difficult to control is the strong winds that continued throughout the night, reaching gale force warning levels. We are fully mobilizing all available support, including receiving helicopter assistance from the U.S. military stationed in our country, and we are putting all our efforts into the firefighting operations.
In response to criticism about a lack of equipment in the firefighting efforts, a spokesperson for the Korea Forest Service said the agency planned to secure more helicopters. He added that nearly 5,000 firefighting personnel were being deployed on Wednesday, as well as 87 firefighting helicopters. However, the agency later said the choppers had been grounded after one crashed on Wednesday, killing the pilot, according to media reports. Rescuers were seen working at the smoldering crash site while fire trucks sprayed water towards the smoke. Multiple blazes that broke out on Saturday are yet to be contained, gutting ancient temples and destroying homes. The government has designated the affected areas as special disaster zones and said the fires had damaged more than 37,000 acres. The safety ministry said dry conditions were expected to persist in the region on Wednesday.
The Department of Foreign Affairs has brought home some 176 Filipinos rescued from scam centers in Myanmar. These alleged human trafficking victims arrived in the country early Wednesday on a special flight from Bangkok, Thailand. This repatriation follows the return of 30 other Filipinos from Myanmar just yesterday.
Isa pa yung uncertainty. Kasi hindi sila yung majority. Libo-libong mga Chinese na repat. So kaya tumagal dahil iba-ibang bansa yan eh. 35 countries ang represented na may human trafficking victims. So, bukas may darating 176 chartered flight ng Palyan. Mas marami silang kwento sa atin kung kasi ano mangyari. Ang maganda dito, walang may sakit, di ba? Walang nag-report na may sakit ngayon or pregnant. Bukas meron eh. Bukas may darating some pregnant women. So, tingnan natin ano yung kalagayan nila.
The DFA says the Philippine government is committed to protecting Filipinos abroad, calling its effort a gold standard in migration protection. The DFA is again urging Filipinos to use proper channels when seeking overseas employment.
Bitcoin din.
Usually, social media po yan. May matatanggap kayo sa FB, sa Messenger. Pagkatapos, pagka pinatulan mo yan,
So may makakausap ka, hindi naman sasabihin sa iyo yung tunay na pangalan, tapos mag-meet kayo sa isang lugar, yun na, iaayos na nila yung mga dokumento mo para ikaw ay bumiyahe. Doon sa backdoor, hindi ka naman dadaan sa regular hindi ka dadaan dito sa Bureau of Immigration. Dadaan ka doon sa Zamboanga or sa Palawan, tapos sasakay ka ng barko, maglalakad ka na ilang araw. Napakatagal ng biyahe, no? Yung pa lang, alam mo na na hindi tama yung proseso kung paano ka hahanap ng trabaho. Unang-una, hindi ka dumaan sa tamang proseso sa DMW.
U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz has taken responsibility for the leak about strikes on Yemen in a Signal chat group that included a journalist. Now, Waltz took the blame during an interview with Fox News on Tuesday. Here's Thomas I. Likeness for more.
I take full responsibility. I built the group. My job is to make sure everything's coordinated.
It took a day, but someone finally stepped up and said they were responsible for the goof. Mike Waltz says he created the chat group on this app here. It's called Signal, and this is where highly sensitive details about imminent U.S. strikes on Yemen had been posted. President Donald Trump's administration has sought to contain fallout from an explosive article on Monday by the Atlantic's editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg. Goldberg revealed that he was included in that group chat. Waltz says they're now trying to find out how Goldberg got invited to the group, and he doesn't hide his disdain for the journalist.
I can tell you for 100%, I don't know this guy. I know him by his horrible reputation, and he really is the bottom scum of journalists. And I know him in the sense that he hates the president, but I don't text him. He wasn't on my phone.
Since the story broke, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and other national security officials have been trying to do damage control. On Monday, Hegseth tried to spin it that the media is to blame.
Talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage.
Hegseth denied any war plans had been texted. And for his part, Trump claimed to have no knowledge of the story or the foul-up in national security when he was first asked about it.
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business.
On Capitol Hill, members of the Select Committee on Intelligence roasted national security officials. Democrats called on top officials to resign over the incident. Senator Mike Warner chided them for not taking it seriously.
This was not only sloppy, it not only violated all procedures, but if this information had gotten out, American lives could have been lost.
It doesn't appear there will be any consequences for this security failure. Trump says he's standing by his top security advisor.
No, I don't think he should apologize. I think he's doing his best.
And as far as the rest of the team?
We have an amazing group. Our national security now is stronger than it's ever been.
The fallout from this story goes beyond American borders. Already nervous allies wonder more than ever, can they trust the U.S. when it comes to sharing intelligence? Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says the leak means that allied nations must look out for themselves. He says members of the Five Eyes intelligence sharing group will be looking at how the U.S. will tighten up procedures to avoid further mistakes. Thomas I. Likeness, NET25 World News.
Meanwhile, a security lapse attributed to human failure resulted in sensitive war planning details being shared with a journalist in a messaging group containing top Trump administration officials. This, according to an analyst. Take a look.
Signal is regarded as being very, very secure. It has end-to-end encryption. It keeps very limited data around users, and it's rigorously tested. And many security experts see it as a go-to platform. But of course, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the ideal place to be transferring any kind of secrets. And of course, any platform is always going to have some kind of vulnerability potentially. With any of these public systems, of course, there's huge efforts to make them as secure as possible. And Signal stands out as one that is working extremely hard with end-to-end encryption and other measures it takes to ensure that any messages sent over its network are secure. But of course, if you are sending highly sensitive data, whether you're a business or a government organization, it's probably better to have greater control over the messaging system you're using. However, in the case of this Atlantic issue that we've seen, the challenge is very much more around a human failure than a technology failure. And this is typically often the case with security breaches. It's rarely the technology that lets people down. It's actually the decisions of the people using the technology that cause the problems.
A potential ceasefire is emerging in the Black Sea conflict as the U.S. announces separate agreements with Ukraine and Russia to halt attacks on energy facilities. However, the deal's success hinges on overcoming mutual distrust and navigating Russia's demands for sanctions relief. Here's more.
The United States reached deals on Tuesday with Ukraine and Russia to pause attacks in the Black Sea and against energy facilities. The U.S. agreement with Russia goes further than the deal with Ukraine, as the Trump administration agreed to help seek the lifting of international sanctions on Russia, something Vladimir Putin has long sought. The separate agreements are the first formal commitments by the warring side since the inauguration of Donald Trump.
We are making a lot of progress.
Trump is pushing for an end to the war and also a reconciliation with Moscow that has alarmed Kyiv and European countries.
We're in deep discussions with Russia and Ukraine, and I would say it's going well, but it's a situation we should have never had to even think about. Should have never happened.
The Kremlin said the Black Sea agreements would not come into effect unless links between some Russian banks and the international financial system were restored. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said this was untrue and that there was no requirement of sanctions relief for the deals to come into force. But Trump told reporters his team was considering the conditions Moscow laid out.
They will be looking at them, and we're thinking about all of them right now. There are about 5 or 6 conditions. We're looking at all of them.
Kyiv and Moscow both said they would rely on Washington to enforce the deals, while expressing skepticism that the other side would abide by them. Here's Zelensky.
I believe that there are a million questions. I honestly believe so myself. There will be millions of questions and details. But as of today, it sounds like this. Every side, Ukraine and Russia, doesn't use weapons against the energy system of the other side.
And here's what Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov had to say.
We will need clear guarantees. And there may be guarantees taking into account the sad experience of agreements with Kyiv. Guarantees may be only the result of a direct order from Washington to Zelensky and his team to do this and not any other way.
Zelensky said the truce agreements would take effect immediately and that if Russia violated them, he would ask Trump to impose additional sanctions on Moscow and provide more weapons for Ukraine. The Kremlin said the pause in attacks on energy would last for 30 days from March 18th, when Putin first discussed it with Trump. Ukraine had said last week that it would accept such a pause only after a formal agreement.
An Australian senator pulled out a large dead fish in Parliament today to protest the government's proposed laws that would safeguard controversial salmon farms in a heritage-listed inlet in the state of Tasmania.
The eve of the election, have you sold out your environment credentials for a rotten, stinking extinction salmon? Extinction salmon.
Senator Hanson-Young, remove the prop from the chamber.
Green Senator Sarah Hanson-Young produced a whole dead salmon in a plastic bag while posing a question to Labor Senator Jenny McAllister, representing the Environment Minister. After some commotion, Senate President Sue Lines asked Hanson-Young to remove the prop. The proposed laws would guarantee salmon farming in the World Heritage-listed Macquarie Harbour on Tasmania's west coast and reduce the ability of the public to challenge approvals. But environmental groups and the Green Party are concerned about the nutrient and chemical pollution caused by the industry and its effects on marine wildlife, including the rare Morgan skate, which is only found in the Macquarie and Bathurst harbors in Tasmania. And the news continues here on NET25. We'll be right back.
Pinagkasundoan daw ng mga anak ko na dito ako dalhin. Dahil na wala nga daw mag-aalaga sa akin sa amin.
Nadisgrasya lang ako kaya napunta ako sa ospital tapos napunta ako dito. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na pagka nilagay mo ang nanay mo sa home care is pinabayaan mo na. May positive side naman. Hindi namin sila pinababayaan, minamahal namin sila.
Global oil markets are seeing a fifth consecutive day of price increases. Now, this is driven by concerns over supply and the U.S. tariffs on Venezuelan oil, coupled with potential OPEC Plus output hikes, are creating a tug-of-war between supply and demand, impacting prices in Europe and the United States. Take a look.
Oil prices in Europe and the U.S. rose on Tuesday for a fifth straight day on expectations that global supply may tighten. This comes after the U.S. announced tariffs on countries that buy Venezuelan crude, though gains were limited as producers in the OPEC Plus group indicated they plan to go ahead with an output hike in May. On Monday, President Donald Trump announced a 25% tariff on countries importing oil and gas from Venezuela. Oil is Venezuela's main export, and China, which is already the subject of U.S. tariffs, is its largest buyer. The Trump administration also on Monday extended a deadline to May 27th for U.S. producer Chevron to wind down operations in Venezuela. Last week, the U.S. issued new sanctions intended to hit Iranian oil exports. Trump also said tariffs on imported cars are coming soon, even if he indicated that not all of his threatened levies would be imposed on April 2nd. He also said some countries may get breaks, a move Wall Street took as a sign of flexibility on a matter that has roiled markets for weeks.
Let's head over to the U.S. Capitol, but this time taking a little break from the usual politics. NET25 correspondent Jeff Sanidad joins enthusiast and master Lego artist Nathan Sawaya in this year's The Art of the Bricks exhibit. Jeff.
The internationally acclaimed exhibit, The Art of the Brick, is back with an exciting new challenge. Known for its breathtaking sculptures, this world-famous Lego art exhibition captivates its audiences. But this time, visitors can test their own building skills in the Master Brick Challenge, a hands-on competition where participants get to showcase their creativity and technical expertise in front of a panel of judges, including a very special guest. That special guest is renowned artist Nathan Sawaya, who will provide attendees with a unique opportunity to engage with him during an exclusive meet and greet session. After wowing audiences in over 100 cities across 24 countries, Sawaya's jaw-dropping Lego exhibit has finally landed in Washington, D.C. From larger-than-life sculptures to brick-built versions of famous masterpieces like Michelangelo's David, Van Gogh's Starry Night, and Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, this is Lego like you've never seen it before. And that's not all. There's a massive 6-meter-long T-Rex skeleton, a wild Lego safari, and mind-blowing multimedia art made with award-winning photographer Dean West. Visitors get to ask questions, snap selfies, score autographs, and peek into how Sawaya brings Lego bricks to life. The Master Brick Challenge kicks off with 25 super talented builders showing off their creativity in 5 exciting categories, all inspired by DC. Voting opened on March 15, 2025, and today, March 21, we celebrate every builder and reveal who takes home the ultimate prize. And who's announcing the winner? None other than Nathan Sawaya himself.
The Master Brick Challenge is something that allows many people to explore their own creativity. I think the role of an artist is to inspire. And so I hope I've inspired these builders to explore their own creativity and create whatever their imagination lets them build. Now, when it comes to judging, it's actually voted on by the public. So although I've seen some amazing creations, it's really not up to me. It's really what everyone wants to see as the winner. I think Lego is something that you can keep using in new and different ways. I always am exploring new ways to use it. Part of this exhibition here in Washington, D.C. has explorations of using Lego bricks with photography and integrating them together. That's just one approach that's different from just traditional building.
What's the most memorable reaction you've received from a visitor at one of your exhibits?
There's a piece called My Boy, where a figure is holding a child in its arms. And the first time I debuted that, a woman started crying. And when you see that type of emotion coming out of something that's really just a child's toy, but it really has been transformed into art, and that's the real idea. A lot of folks ask me, why do I use Lego bricks? And I think it really comes down to a couple things. I really like the look of Lego bricks. I like those distinct lines, those sharp corners. When you see my artwork up close, you're gonna see it's made out of all these rectangles and right angles. But then you back away from it, and those corners blend into curves. And that's kind of the magic of using Lego bricks. And the other reason I really like using Lego is it's accessible. And that makes the art accessible. People are familiar with Lego, so they can connect with this type of art because they're just familiar with it as a toy.
Winner Caden spoke of the inspiration behind his winning Lego build, The Soul of DC.
I guess I just had to take a good look around the city, and I wanted to make, or like take a mental note of what some people don't include in their stuff. Instead of some people just normally putting cherry blossoms or just the monument or capitol, or because that's what we're normally known for. And so I just wanted to be different. Yeah.
Meeting artist Nathan Sawaya further fueled his passion for art.
It feels really good. It gives me a lot of inspiration since I'm going to art school next year. Yeah, and it makes me want to like go more to that feeling of art and more of that career of art instead of just staying in the normal patterns of economics.
The Art of the Brick DC continues to ignite imaginations and push the boundaries of creativity. With this event, many agree that the power of play truly inspires dreamers, one brick at a time. Jeff Sanidad, NET25 World News.
Spring has painted Tokyo pink, and the much-anticipated cherry blossom season is officially underway. Dennis Liu is in Japan with more.
Tokyo has officially welcomed the arrival of spring with the announcement of the cherry blossom season. The Japan Meteorological Agency confirmed the blooming of the iconic sakura at Yasukuni Shrine.
こちらの標本木ですね。ただいま観測しまして、6人、認められました。ですので東京の方、標準木の開花となります。平年と同じ日に咲きまして、昨年より5日早い観測となります。
Making the start of a cultural phenomenon that has captivated Japan for centuries. This year's bloom arrived 5 days earlier than last year, a testament to the delicate balance of nature. The cherry blossoms, more than just a beautiful spectacle, are a symbol of renewal and fleeting beauty in Japanese culture. And it's not just locals who are drawn to their allure. Tourism numbers show a significant surge in foreign visitors during this period, with last March alone seeing a nearly 70% increase compared to the previous year, highlighting the global appeal of this annual spectacle.
Warm and the cherry blossom here, it's beautiful, so yeah, we are enjoying it very much.
Reporting from Oitabashi here in Yokohama, this is Dennis Liu for NET25 World News.
And with that, we end tonight's broadcast. For everyone here on NET25, I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you all for joining us. Good night.